And then we see the driver's side door open. We see someone's leg come out, and then I'm talking like black combat boots, like like cargo pants.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, dude.
Yeah. Hey guys, this is Elijah Vargas from the Gold Soul Podcast. I got my friend over here from the Omaha area. Met him through a friend of a friend. He's got a very interesting lifestyle, a very interesting life, into some interesting hobbies. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. Not going to talk about him specifically, but some of his experiences. So, can you kind of explain what that hobby, what that skill set is?
Yeah, for sure, man. And start off, thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
So, I'd say 95% of what I do is very boring, very normal. It's like that 5% is the reason I'm here. A hobby I've taken up in the last probably 3-4 years is urbexing, bandoing. For those of you that don't know, it's just exploring abandoned places, essentially places that maybe you're not supposed to go. I'd say the first probably 2 years I was doing it, I was going to places more in urban areas, and then recently I've branched out to more, I guess, rural stuff, because, I don't want to deal with crackheads, they don't want to deal with me, that type of stuff, you get it, but that's, I guess, the high level view.
Yeah, dude, that's gotta be scary, interacting with crackheads in the urban area.
Well, it is, man, but really what's scary is some of these places, where you're going to the middle of nowhere, right? So it's all farmland. We're in Nebraska, right? So sometimes we go into Iowa, sometimes like Kansas. It's flat for miles, you know what I mean? So you don't have the cover to drive to these places in the day. You got to go at like 3 a.m. Man, you get close to those locations, it's pitch black outside.
That's gotta be scary too.
It's a little bit, scary
like,
for sure.
Like, what if something happens? There's like nowhere to
no
call.
one's saving you, bro.
Yeah, nobody's there.
You don't even got cell signal sometimes, so it's rough. But I love doing it. I love the rush.
Yes, sir. So like, when would you say that you started doing this? Like, how long ago? How long have you been doing this?
Yeah. So, probably mid to late 2022. It's started 26 now, so I guess I'm gonna let you do the math on that. I do the urbexing, not the math, but a couple years now for sure.
Couple years. I think it's about time we get started talking about some of your stories. So if you want to start from the beginning, you want to start from wherever the most interesting story you have is. But
sure, man. We could talk about a couple of the more interesting ones. I think I'll probably start at the beginning, kind of go chronologically.
Yeah. Chronologically.
Right. So the first place I ever urbexed at, this is probably around Thanksgiving, around Christmas time, 2022. And I gotta kind of set up some context for this one. You're gonna have to stay with me because it sounds a little bit crazy at some parts, but I'm gonna fill you in with kind of the overview to start out with. So, you've seen like the movie Monster House?
Yeah.
Okay. So
the glove glow gab galab.
Exactly. A lot of smaller towns, I think, always have that urban legend. Whether it's like this lady killed her husband, she's crazy, or it's like this house is haunted, or whatever it is. I think every kid growing up in a smaller town has that experience, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, a buddy of mine, he's from somewhere in Missouri, we'll keep it at that, and I've gone down there a couple times to visit him. One time I was down there, he was like, man, we gotta check out the spot. And, where do I even begin with that? So, you've heard the stories of guys where they'll claim that like, oh, I made a steam-powered car, like a hydrogen-powered car. It'll be on TikTok and all the comments are like, man, he's not suicidal, or nice knowing you. You seen
Protect,
that
bro.
Right, exactly. So we've all like heard those stories. Well, there's a guy, I'll keep his name out of it, but you could probably find him on the internet if you look hard enough. But he's an old guy now, but he claims to have invented a hydrogen-powered car in the 60s. And then he claimed that ever since then, the government has been after him. To be fair, I feel like if the feds wanted to catch you,
they would.
And within 60 years, they'd probably do that. But whatever, man. I don't know his full story, but that's his claim. And there is this limestone quarry that was operating from probably 50s, 60s, so like the late 80s. And it was located in a cave system that is 8 million square feet.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, That's
What?
unreal. But to be fair, Missouri, I think, is like the third most cave-populated state in the U.S., so it makes sense. But it's this old limestone quarry that he purchased in, I think, it was late 80s, early 90s, and this is all, by the way, stuff that I found through research in the library in that town's archives. So they had old newspaper articles from like the 2000s.
Yeah.
This is stuff they were actually
Damn, that's
reporting in the
crazy. It's a
newspaper.
movie.
No, it is. It really
Yeah.
does sound like a movie. But anyways, this guy buys up this property after claiming the government was after him, whatever, and he turns this cave into a compound. I'm not talking like Bat Cave. I'm talking more of like it looks like a bunker. So you're talking like you got all of these areas people are living in, like the rooms, you got the bathrooms, like the kitchen areas, the recreation areas. It's legit, man.
That's crazy.
And they're doing all this construction over a couple of decades. So this guy's a Mormon, right? And he gets excommunicated from the Mormon church, partially because of polygamy, and then also because, he was like a big conspiracy theorist. I think they didn't want that look.
Yeah.
So he gets excommunicated. Well, he has kind of a cult following of people who believe in his, I guess, hydrogen car stuff and all that. So he takes them and they go to the cave. And they legitimately start their families in this cave. They live in this cave. And he starts an unaccredited university in this cave, I guess, to teach all that engineering stuff that he was doing, just to go further with that. So this is essentially like a excommunicated extremist conspiratorial sect of Mormonism that is found. I know.
What
Crazy,
the hell?
man. But this is also that I found in my research, because if you're ever doing urbex, you got to do your due diligence, right? You're never going into it blind. That's how you end up arrested or something else.
In a cult?
Yeah, no, legitimately, man. In
Yeah.
a cult, yeah. Don't drink the Kool-Aid. But so this is all the context, kind of gearing in towards my trip. And the last bit of context I'll give is my buddy showed me this video that was taken in, I want to say, 2017. And it was this guy that he had known from high school. So this guy, this is when they were in high school, he drove out to where this cave is. And it's like way, way, way just in the woods, right? And he drove out there. He was able to sneak into the complex, and he's filming this whole thing. They go through the rooms. It's pimped out, dude. It's like if Jeffrey Bezos was like, I want a doomsday bunker. That's what we're
That's
talking about here.
crazy.
This is legit stuff. And they go into this room. They open the door super, super slowly. You hear the door creaking. It's just pitch black in there, right? So one of the other guys with him, I think he went with a buddy. He turns on his flashlight and his phone. And you see a whole line of bunk beds. And then he's like, wait, what? Is there someone in the bed? And then you just see this kid just sitting straight up
Oh
in
my
the
god.
bunk bed that's closest to them. And the guy just yells. And then you just see them running out of there. And that's the end of the video.
Dude, that's terrifying.
So, either my boy that showed me this is a pathological liar and you had like a Hollywood movie set to film this, or like this is what happened.
Yeah.
So this is all the crap I'm seeing going into it. And he's like, no, be warned, after that happened, this old dude beefed up the security of the complex. I'm talking armed guards, like, M16s. I had this huge barbed wire fence.
That's insane.
Like these big metal double doors.
Outside of like the cave system?
At the entrance, yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, so matter of fact, when we're off this, I can show you. I have a video and a couple pictures that I took when I was going there. Off the record, of course, but it's sick. So that's what I know going into this. This is my first ever urbex. I'm geeked, needless to say. So we take this probably 1.5 mile hike through the woods. And keep in mind, it's like 1 a.m. because we're not going there in broad daylight. I'd rather be scared in the dark than dead in the day.
Yeah.
So we're trekking through the woods. We come over this big hill, and then there's just all of this construction stuff. There's like a big excavator. There's like some bobcats, and I'm like, okay, so this isn't abandoned. Traditionally, urbex is somewhere abandoned, so you don't get freaking killed.
Yeah.
Starting to get a little freaked out, man. You know. We go over another ridge, and then it's just this clearing, and then way, way, way in the distance, I see the cave, like entrance, coming out of the ground. Yeah. So we're like, obviously we can't just go up to it, right? And I'm with my buddy that told me about it, and then we have one other friend, so it's 3 of us total. And we see this ridge, kind of, I would say, 70 yards maybe away from the mouth of the cave. So we're like, okay, we're going to go onto this ridge. It's like a hill, and there's woods on the top of it. So we have cover there, and we can look down over the entrance, right?
Okay, yeah.
This seems like the perfect vantage point. So we head up to there. We climb up this hill in the dark, and it's steep, man. We're slipping down. We're trying to be quiet. Right. So we get up to the top, and we're looking out over it. And in front of this, have you seen, like, The Hobbit?
Yeah.
So,
like the hill with the...
Like the Hobbit hole? That's what it is, but instead of, like, grass, it's, like, a bunch of, like, concrete and, like, glass and stuff on, like, the entrance of this cave that's shutting out of the ground. And there's, like, these, like, light posts, and then there's this whole parking lot in front of it. Dude, I'm telling you, he has, like, a little civilian militia in there or something.
That's insane.
It is crazy. So we see the parking lot. There's one black truck in the parking lot. So we see that. I'm like, all right, I'm on high alert, right?
Yeah.
So I'm taking some pictures. We're taking some video. We're just looking out over it, and we're like, all right, we're not gonna go in here because
there's like no way.
I had done a deep dive on Reddit as well, which I know it's Reddit. Take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
But in addition to, like, all the old newspapers I looked at, and there was this guy who was like, yeah, I had to, like, deliver all this lumber and these construction materials to this place in, I think it was like 2011, and I was met at the gate by an armed guard. So
that's crazy.
I see that, and I see this like, black truck in the parking lot. I'm like, all right, we're gonna look. It's gonna be cool. We're not going in there. Someone already did that years ago. So I turned to my boys to be like, all right, y'all ready to go? And it's only one of my boys. The other one isn't there.
Oh, so, where did the other one go?
Right, exactly. So I turned to my boy. I'm gonna call the first one Bob, and the second one we'll call Muhammad. You know, statistically speaking, that's probably what his name was. And so I'm like, Bob, where's Muhammad? Bob whips around. We're like, where is he? He's gone.
Yeah.
As a side note, you know, whenever I do like a stupid thing, my parents will be like, oh, it's because your brain isn't fully developed. You know, you're not 25 yet. Have you heard that? Like your frontal lobe?
Yeah, frontal lobe, yeah.
Muhammad doesn't even have a frontal lobe, dude. He's an impulsive guy. Was not, in hindsight, the right guy to bring.
Yeah.
But we're freaking out. We're like, I don't know where he is, man, but there's someone at this complex. I hope we didn't try to go up to there. So it's dark out, so we can't really see, but we look out, and then I use my phone. We zoom in. This is before I used binoculars for URBEX, but we zoom in and look at this field that's going up to the cave, and then we see him
running.
and he's like crouched over trying to like waddle through the field to the cave. I'm like, what do I even do? I can't yell. I'm not following him. I'm sorry. So I don't know what happens, right? And so we're trying to figure out what to do, me and Bob. And then at this point, you know, Muhammad's probably like 30 yards in the mouth of the cave. He's getting close.
Yeah.
And then we hear a dog bark.
Oh my gosh, dude.
And then we just stop talking. And then we hear like 3 more dogs bark.
Oh, he's cooked.
And we're like, all right, bro. Muhammad's my dog. I've known him for a long time, you know. I value my life. Yeah. So I have these 2 different conflicting ideas in my head. I'm like, respectfully, if I go up there, what can I do? Like, he has to come back here.
Yeah,
there's nothing I can do to help him, right?
Yeah.
So me and Bob, we're like, all right, we're getting the hell out of here. So we run back down the hill, and then we just start falling, like, you know, ass over tea kettle, because it's slippery, it's dark, there's a bunch of, like, foliage, and then we kind of land at the bottom, and we're just taking off, right?
Yeah.
We look way back behind us, and I can see kind of through the dark, like,
Muhammad?
He's hauling ass, right? But I'm also hearing the barking, and the barking's getting closer. So, in addition to a dude with a gun, I guess they had, like, I don't know what you want to call it, guard dogs, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of dog it was dark, but I'm going to tell you right now, it wasn't a Chihuahua, okay? Thing sounded big, so we're hauling ass, right? To get back, we have to get out of this clearing, we have to go over that big hill, and then the other clearing with, like, the excavation stuff, and then we're in the woods, okay? At the edge of that clearing with the woods, there is the barbed wire fence.
Yeah.
We have to cover probably 100 yards, and then we have to get over that barbed wire fence, okay? It's not looking good.
Dude, that's terrifying.
So, no.
Yeah.
Me and Bob, we're hauling ass. We get, and mind you, we're like wearing backpacks. We got on like steel-toed boots. We're not that fast.
Yeah.
But we get past the excavation stuff. We hop on the barbed wire fence and we start climbing, because there is at the corner a spot where you can get over and mostly avoid the barbed wire. So that's how we got in the first place. But we get over that, and we notice that the barking was like faint now. It was in the distance. And at first I'm like, oh, thank God. And then Bob's like, dude, that means they went after Muhammad.
Oh, shoot.
So we don't know what to do at this point, but we had talked before. We're like, if anything goes wrong, we rendezvous at the mouth of the woods, like 1.5 miles, right? Like,
yeah.
So we were like, I don't know what to do besides go there. There's no cell signal. We can't go to the police. We can't go back to there because the dude that was there, I guess, on duty patrolling is now alerted by his dogs losing their crap, right?
Yeah, because of Muhammad.
Right. Exactly. So we just go back to the rendezvous point, me and Bob, and we sit there for, I think we got there by like, it was like 3 a.m. We just sit there and wait until like 6 a.m. because we didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And then we hear this rustling in the woods. It's coming closer and closer. So we're freaking out, right? We go hide behind like some bushes, like way over to the side, and then out comes Muhammad.
And he's fine?
He was fine. So I think he must have ran in, if you imagine the property that's like in the like middle of clearing of the woods as like a square, I think he ran to the other side, and I think he went to the other corner of the barbed wire fence to be able to get over that, because I think he was closer to that.
Yeah.
So apparently the dogs didn't get him. You know, we're all okay. And he had like his pretty bad cuts on his arm, so I think he might have just said, you know, closest spot on the fence, I got to get over. It's either that or I get freaking eaten. So he gets over. He's all right, but it was just like, man, what happened? Right? And he said, dude, I got to this other side, like I went diagonal to the cave, and there was this other area with all this other construction equipment. And so I got to there, and then I just like, there was like this huge tree that I guess was like by the barbed wire fence. He said he climbed up on that, and then he tried to like jump out over the barbed wire fence, and then it caught him while he was trying to, you know, like on the way down, it just sliced his arm, right?
Yeah.
But the dogs didn't get him, so I guess that's a win. But I mean, shoot, what can I say? After that, we just got back in the car. We went to Walgreens and got a bunch of like first aid stuff, because again, first time urbexing, we're all idiots who didn't bring that stuff.
Yeah.
After that, what do? You go to Waffle House and you go home. So I guess anticlimactic ending, but man,
still, that's a crazy story.
Yeah, and that was my first real taste of, I can't call it urbex in good faith because it was like, it's essentially really a fork. It's a base, you know, but that was my first run-in with that, and after that, man, I was hooked. But that's kind of...
I'm surprised, like, that didn't discourage you at all, like...
Oh, no, don't get me wrong, it did for like a year.
Oh, okay.
But... Man, I couldn't stay away for too long.
What made you decide to come back then?
To be honest, I just saw guys on YouTube doing it, and I was like, oh, that's so fun. So, that kind of, you know, I had to come out of retirement. We had to assemble a team, like in the movies,
Avengers,
right? But, but, man, that was the first go-around.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, like, I never got into it, but, like, I like watching the videos. It's pretty dope. And seeing...
Some of those guys in Europe, dude, the stuff they find is unbelievable.
I'm sure, yeah.
Yeah, but then it's also like, well, are there landmines there, you know?
Yeah,
go to like parts of...
That's definitely true.
Yeah.
Eastern Europe.
Right, but... Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I like seeing the one guy, I mean, I don't know how real his videos are, but where he went to, like, Epstein's Island.
I've seen those.
He was, like, swimming.
I think it's real, because, like, I mean, that's... Like, if you go on Google Earth, urbexers use Google Earth nonstop. And, of course, you know, I've checked out the islands on Google Earth. I haven't seen it firsthand, obviously. Was not on the island, but that's what it looks like in Google Earth, so it seems legit.
He also went to like Bohemian Grove.
I have a story about that too. That's for another time though. A buddy of mine.
You went there? Oh,
no, a buddy of mine. So there's two parts of it. There's like the owl crazy part, and then there's like the country club. My buddy worked a summer job there because they would legit just hire high schoolers, and he said he saw Conan O'Brien just wasted. Well, like the country club. Who? Conan O'Brien.
What?
Wasted out of his mind because again, the country club part is like, you know, that's where all like the celebrities go, whatever. That's where people can work, but they would not let them go past a certain point.
Yeah.
And that was very well understood, and like that was, they would pursue legal action against them. He said if they, you know what I mean, went to certain places, but country club area, I guess, was just a chill place for rich dudes to get wasted. But yeah. Anyways,
that's funny.
Yeah.
Conan O'Brien.
Yeah, of all people.
Do you have any other stories like after that first one? Like what happened? What's the one that like was the first one when you got back? Like you decided I need to do this again.
Oh.
If you can talk about that story, I mean.
For sure. To be honest, man, the next one I did after that, I think, isn't as interesting. But the one, I guess, 2 trips after the first one.
Yeah.
That is probably the craziest experience I've had. Like, the context for the first story was nuts, but the actual experience I had was
third
nuts.
one?
For the third one I went on? Yeah.
Yeah, let's hear that one.
Okay. You know what? I can say where this place is because it's publicly available information. So there's these places called Superfund sites.
Yeah.
And this is all available on the internet, on like government. When you type in like Superfund sites, it's a registry of towns that had to be cleared out because of environmental contamination, radiation, stuff like that. So URBEXers will go to these spots because people had to be evacuated from their homes for the entire town, and obviously when that happens, you just have a ghost town. It's going to be good stuff. So that's the third place I went with my buddy.
So it's just like an empty neighborhood with no people?
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen videos of those. Those are crazy, dude.
They are, man. And depending on when they were abandoned, you know, I've seen videos of, there was one in Alaska that got abandoned in the 60s. You're going to find some crazy stuff there, man.
Yeah.
You know, some of the ones that got abandoned, like, in the 2010s are probably not as cool, but either way.
The older, like, the more creepy it is, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Most definitely. And also structurally unsafe. But
yeah.
Anyways, this place we went, you can look it up. It's called Pitcher, Oklahoma. That's Picher, Oklahoma. It is literally right on the border of Oklahoma and Kansas.
Yeah.
And this place, to give some background, because it's always important to learn about where you're going, this was a huge, if I remember correctly, zinc. It was zinc and one other thing, mining town during like World War I and up through the Second World War, you know, like the whole 20th century. And during World War I, they provided, I believe, 40% of the nation's entire zinc supply.
40%?
They were balling out.
Dude, what?
And if you look at this place on, you know, Google Earth, there's like all these different, it's like probably a dozen different like huge mining sites that are obviously not under use anymore, but nestled in between these was a town, Pitcher, Oklahoma.
Yeah. And
there was one by it, I think it was called like Cardo or something, which was same stuff. But anyways, this whole town sprung up from the mining community. And by the time you got to like the 90s, the 2000s, the mines are starting to dry up because like you've just taken all the zinc in the world essentially for the military. And things were starting to go really wrong in the town. So there were two things that made the government have the entire population move out. The first thing was that there, I guess, was some investigation. I think it was by like the Oklahoma Bureau of Investigation, whatever, where they were looking into the mining practices in this town, and they discovered that I think it was like 80% of the homes in this town had tunnels and like mines dug under them because they were running out of zinc. So they were just like, you know what, we're just gonna go under people's houses because they're running out of the mines. And they're like, well, we need more money, you know, that works. So they're just digging under people's homes. This caused sinkholes to open up, and legit people's homes were just falling into the ground. Yeah.
What?
So I think a couple people actually, I could be wrong, either they died or were injured in these sinkholes, but like sinkholes were just opening up on the road under people's homes and small businesses. It's crazy, man, and it's all because of I don't know, corporate greed. I don't know what else to call it, you know.
Yeah, basically.
But they uncovered this, I think, in like around like early 2000s, and then a second thing that made them move out of the residence was they did testing on all of the children in this town, and a lot of them had like lead poisoning and stuff like that. And I think lead might have been the other thing they were mining. I don't remember, but all these trace minerals and stuff were getting into the water, the food they were eating, the bloodstreams. These kids were going to probably like live shorter lives. Like they were permanently impacted by this. Yeah. So I think the year was 2008 when they said, all right, we're moving everybody out of this town. And if you look on Google Earth, you can see there's different like time periods where the little Google Earth car with the camera came by. So some of it is like 2023, 2024, you can see what it looks like now. And some of it is like 2006, and you can see where all these houses were, you know? And then you go one block down, and then it's the current streetcars. Yeah. And it just looks totally different. It's fascinating. You should, you know, check it out.
That's crazy. That's cool though. Damn.
So, this was by far the biggest urbex that me and what do I call him? Bob have ever done.
Yeah.
Before we'd been going to like, you know, abandoned schools, abandoned like loony bins from like
malls?
the 50s.
Really?
I would stay away from malls. That's where you get killed. But we'd been going to like standalone places. We're like, you know what? I want to go big.
Yeah.
So this was over that summer. I spent for a couple weeks like 10, 15 hours a week on my laptop on Google Earth trying to find these towns. And that's how I found out about the Superfund sites. So I'm so excited to go there, right?
Yeah.
But any urbexer has to have their planning. There is so much research. Urbex is 95% research, 5% fun stuff. And if you're not okay with that, then don't do it. Because if you skip the stuff before, you get arrested, you get stabbed or stuck with a needle by some, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've got to do that work beforehand. So what I did was on Google Earth, I zoned out like 7 different zones in this abandoned town. I'm like, okay, we're going to drive up this way. We're going to hide the car here. We're going to enter in zone 1. We're going to hit like these amount of houses. We're going to go to these houses. And, you know, I planned out our entire route. And then I printed off this stuff on a map so we had it for reference. So we would in total have to move the car like 3 times. That's one of the biggest variables in Urbex if you're driving somewhere is like, where do you put the car?
Yeah.
You don't want to walk a mile to get there.
Yeah.
You also can't park by where you're going to be at.
Yeah.
That's just, obviously. So that's kind of a thing you have to juggle. So we drive up to the first zone, and there's an abandoned church, which those are always pretty creepy, obviously. There were like 4 abandoned houses. So we did skip the church because my homie is very, like, he won't go in abandoned hospitals, churches. He's like, I don't want to mess with that, which, you know, respect.
Yeah.
Maybe a little superstitious, but I'm not mad at it. So we skipped that part, but we go to these, I think it was 4 houses. And I can show you the pics after, bro. They're crazy. These houses are just kind of torn apart. Some of them, the foundations are really cooked because I guess the ground underneath, I don't know.
Yeah. I bet,
Yeah, so I'm a big sneaker guy, so I'm always like, maybe I'm going to find a pair of like 1985 Jordans, you know?
Yeah.
My buddy's a huge like vintage clothes guy, so he's always looking for that. I found a pair of 1986 high-top Avia basketball shoes.
Oh, wow.
Snagged those things, covered in like lead, bro. So I had to like put them in like a trash bag. We're wearing N95s. You always want to like wear a solid mask when you're going inside anywhere.
Yeah.
4 houses look really cool. We're being super careful. We don't see any cars. We're doing great, right? So we go to zone 2, same thing. It's going super smoothly. We get to zone 3, and that's where the problems arise. So between zone 1 and zone 2, we're fine. Then we have to come back, get the car, and move it to a different hiding place. And to preface a little bit, so I have a family friend who was a police officer for a while, right?
Yeah.
So before we left on the trip, he was like, listen, this area is partially on like tribal land and partially like normal jurisdiction. So part of where you go is overseen by tribal police. They operate differently than normal police. Something to keep in mind. And then he also said you're going to want to know if you've been spotted because you're going to send a couple police officers to try to pick you up, right? So there is this website that he directed me to, and he was like, on this, you can listen to like the radio lines that they use to communicate.
Yeah, the tribal police or the normal jurisdiction police?
I don't know about the tribal police, but for sure like the normal cops, right?
Okay, yeah.
And then he gave us each a handcuff key.
Yeah.
Didn't say anything, but he was like, take this. And then of course, if you're going in like a big urbex, please concealed carry, you know.
Yeah.
Oklahoma is constitutional carry, so that makes it easier, but that's always a bad situation too, because if you end up using that firearm,
you're not winning the case.
No. You're going to be alive, but your life afterwards is going to look a lot different, and your life is going to suck.
Yeah.
So you don't pull it out unless you're backed in a corner and you've got like Mike Tyson running at you with the sledgehammer, you know?
Yeah.
But you always want to have that just in case. So I say that all to preface, we were prepared about as well as we could be going into zone 3, but that's when the problems started to come up. So we had to kind of go a roundabout way to move the car out of the hiding place in zone 1 to zone 3. It's like probably a 2-mile drive. So as we start the drive, we see probably down the road, it's a couple blocks. It might be even like a quarter mile. we see what looks like a black SUV. We're like, okay, it's a little sus. It's far away. I don't think he saw us, but we'll try to like keep an eye on it, right?
Yeah.
So we're listening on like the little like website for like the police radio chatter. Not really hearing anything. Like, cool. So we're making our way to the hiding spot for Zone 3 for the car, and then we were trying to park it like in this like, there were a bunch of trees and like a little path that looked just big enough for a car, and then it's like a clearing. So we fit the car through there, and we go way back in here, in this like spot that's pretty well hidden, and then I parked the car, right? Behind us, air, I guess in the air, like kind of above the ground, you can just see like the top of the black SUV in the rearview mirror.
Yeah.
So Bob looks in the rearview mirror and he just tenses up. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I look in the rearview mirror and then we see it come fully into view. It's the black SUV. We're talking no plates. Blacked out windows. Not 5%, bro.
But like completely.
Totally blacked out windows.
See.
It's this huge monster, like, I don't even know what it was, to be honest, but it was like bigger than like a Ford Explorer. Like it was like legit. And so
like a Suburban.
Yeah, something like that. So we see that pull into the clearing, and we're like, I don't know how he found us, because he was so far away. Like, I don't know how he saw us pull into this place. We didn't see him, whatever. But whoever it is, we'll say the Suburban, pulls in, and the car keeps coming forward slowly. And at this point, I'm going to the glove box. I'm taking out the 9mm, resting on my leg. Bob looks at me, he's like, man, we cannot use it. I'm like, I don't know who this is, but we're scared shitless, dude. Like, I'm about to piss myself.
Yeah.
That is probably the most scared I've ever been in my life. And then the thing rolls to a stop, like 3 feet behind our car, and we're boxed in.
Oh.
And then it just sits there for like a minute.
Yeah.
And we're just sitting in silence. We don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So, what I'm guessing happens is like, whoever's in there is like running our plates.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, I don't know who this is. This doesn't look like any kind of police. I don't know what's happening here. And then we see the driver's side door opened. And then we see someone's leg come out, and then I'm talking like black combat boots, like black, like cargo pants.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, dude.
Yeah.
And and so guy steps out fully, and it's like some kind of like black uniform. He's got a firearm on him.
He's a Fed?
We didn't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like, I mean, there's no markings on the vehicle to indicate anything. There's not even like the little light things or
there's
like
nothing.
You can tell when you see an undercover cop car. You know what I mean? You can reasonably tell. This didn't look like that at all, man. It looked like some Men in Blacks. I don't like, you know what I mean? The guy steps out. He's got on like black aviator. He's got on like a black like stocking cap. You know, we can see like the bottom half of his face, and he looks kind of like he's not white. He's like ethnically ambiguous. You know, I'm not sure.
Okay, yeah.
But he steps out with the door open, and he's probably like a little over 6 feet. So he's like standing up pretty well over the door, and he's just looking into our rearview mirror. Like, because you can see our faces today, he's just staring at us, right? And his hand's not on his holster or anything, but he's just standing there staring at us. And we're just sitting there just frozen. And again, my hand's right here, bro. If he comes by, like, the door of the car, I don't know what's going to happen, bro. And then he just stands there like that for probably 30 seconds. It felt like way longer, but it's probably what it was. And then he opens the door, he steps back in the car, hear the car turn on, and then he backs out, and then we hear him drive away.
What?
And so now we're
that's even crazier.
Yeah, right?
Like, that's so weird.
It's like we thought he was about to like up the switch on us or something.
He's an alien, bro.
And so me and Bob just sit there for like a minute, and like,
what just happened?
Yeah, exactly. So then we're like, all right, should we just leave?
Yeah.
And Bob wants to, and I'm like, I want to find out what's happening here, man. Like, I want to leave at the same time. I'm like, what if we just like take a little detour on the way out and just try to see what's going on?
Yeah.
You know? So we sitting there for a second. We're like, all right, we're going to totally scrap this zone. And I'm like, what if that was like the tribal police? He was like, man, I don't think they can do that. Like, there's no,
Yeah.
it's like an ICE officer type of thing. Before,
Yeah.
like, they were moving crazy like they are now. Like, there's no identification, there's no badge, there's no license plates,
Yeah.
illegal tint on the car windows. I don't know what it is, man. But anyways, like, you know what? He thought that's what that was. We're like, we're gonna stay out of, like, the half of Pitcher that is, like, tribal land, I guess.
Yeah.
So we skip zones 3, zone 4, zone 5. We're like, we're just going to go to zone 6 and 7, and then we're going to be out of here. So we get out of that part totally. And while we're doing this, I'm looking around. I don't see the Suburban anywhere.
That's so weird.
Because he's driving, right? So I'm in the passenger seat.
Yeah.
And then he was like, man, you should, like, look on that, like, radar, like, the website to, like, track, like, the radio communications. I'm like, yeah, because we haven't looked at that for, like, 20 minutes. And I tune into that, and I just hear them talking, black SUV, 2 people in it. They look like young, they're males, and I'm like, holy crap, they're talking about us.
Yeah, wait, black SUV? You guys are in...
Sorry. My homie, yeah, he was driving a black SUV, but like, with license plate.
Yeah.
With not tinted windows, you know? So I'm like, dude, they're talking about us. And so now, we're both freaking out.
Yeah, now
we're
you need
like,
to get out of there.
Oh my god, we have to get like abort. So we ended up only really seeing like a quarter of Pitcher, because it went terribly wrong. But we're like, all right, we got to get out of here now. And so as we're doing that, we're gonna turn onto the street, and it was like, I think it was like called like 7th Street. This was a while ago, but it was like 7th Street. We were gonna turn onto there because I have my map in my hands. I'm like, all right, turn onto there. It's like a straight shot for like half a mile. And then we should be out of here. We're into the next town. It's like Cardo, which is also like an old ghost town, but like it's out of this part. So we're going that way. And then we're hearing like the radio chat. They're like, all right, the black SUV is going down 7th. And I'm like, where are they watching us from? How do they see us?
They got like drones or something.
Yeah, I don't even know, dude. They got like the freaking NSA out here.
Crazy comms.
Yeah, no, they do. So I'm like, holy shit, stop the car. So we stop the car. I'm like, okay. We have to figure out how to get out of here because they're tracking our movement, but we have to find a way out. So we take a right onto this other street, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, some of these streets are like straight up not drivable because again, there's huge potholes. There's legit places where like it's like small sinkholes.
Yeah.
So I wasn't able to Google Earth a lot of the side roads because, none of the cars had been able to go on there to like document it for Google Earth since like the early 2000s. So I'm going in blind.
Yeah,
our car could like legit. We could go over a hill, and then on the other side, there's just like
a pit.
Right, you know what I mean?
There's just no road.
Probably not car sized because those are, I think there were like very few that big, but like big enough to like we're stuck.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then if we're stuck, we can maybe escape, but they have the plates of the car.
Yeah.
So, we go onto the side road, and it's pretty rough. There's like these big potholes just because the road hasn't been upkept. I don't know where I'm going here. But the thing is, we're going on the side road. I can see on the map where it goes. It branches out from the main road onto the side road. And then if we go south on it, we can get back onto like the interstate. If we go and then just get away from the town. So we go onto the side road, and we hear the cops on the radio. They're like, yeah, they went off, and I don't remember the name of the road. Like, they went off there. Do you have any troops by here? And we're like, no, our cars are on the other side. They're like, I don't know if we can go on that road. So it sounds like they don't even patrol like certain parts of it. They're like, yeah, okay, we'll send two cars over there. So now I'm like, I look at him like, Bob, we gotta gun it, bro, because we're at a dilemma of we have to beat the cops to like the end of this road, get on the interstate.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if we're going like 50 miles an hour down this like essentially old residential area, and there's like one of these like sinkholes. We're not gonna be able to avoid it, man.
Yeah.
We're going too slow, or I mean too fast.
Too fast. Yeah.
Right. So at that point, it's like, would you rather risk it and potentially like you don't have a car anymore?
Yeah.
Or would you rather not beat the cops there and then you get put in handcuffs?
Yeah.
So he starts gunning it. It's like, we're going probably 55, and given the terrain and like the visibility, that's fast as hell.
It was. Yeah.
Right.
It was. Yeah.
So we're gunning it. It's probably 3/4 of a mile down this like side road. The good thing is like all of these city like these like blocks are like super overgrown. It's like these mini like forests, It's been a couple of decades of sitting there. So we have some shielding to where they can't like directly follow us, I think.
Yeah.
But on the radio chat they're like, yeah, they're on the side road. I can't see exactly where. And they're like, are you gonna get there in time? They're like, we're a minute out. and then I can see the sign for the interstate, right after they say that. I can
Yeah.
see it, and we're probably like, 100 yards out from there. So I can just see like the little green sign, then you can see like the road going this way. I'm like, I think we're gonna make it. And so we're zooming, and we get there in like a couple of seconds. We're going pretty freaking fast, and then just peel out on the interstate. He guns it. We're probably going like 90 now, and we got away. And then at that point, we were out of range to hear their talk on the radio.
Yeah.
But we're out of there.
Dude, that's insane.
So. Yeah, man.
That's crazy. So wait, that dude, was he a cop then? Because he got the license plate, he got everything else. He was probably a cop, yeah?
So,
or something.
we still don't know for sure, but I had talked to my family friend that was a police officer in like southern Kansas, so I think he like was somewhat familiar with that area because it was, that's right by Pitcher, Oklahoma, and he was like, that was almost definitely tribal police. And what he probably did was he got out, he scanned your license plate, and then he got out of the car just to like, scare the shit out of you. And then he got back and drove off, hoping you would leave. And then he gave all that information to the police in case you guys tried to go out of the tribal jurisdiction, which we did. So he preempted that, right?
Yeah.
And if we didn't have that software to like hear what they were saying on their radios, we would have been fried. And if we didn't take the risk of going on those side roads that could have had a giant sinkhole, we would have been fried. So that also goes to show that sometimes, no matter how much planning you do,
things can always go sideways.
Things can go south in an instant.
Yeah.
So thankfully we got out of that okay.
Yeah.
Despite, I'm assuming, the tribal police having the license plate, just driving on the road is not a crime, right? We don't know for sure if the cops had seen us like entering any houses. If they did, I think we would have heard from them later. But from what I'm guessing, they had just seen us on the roads, and they would probably take us into custody, question us, and then just release us and be like, "Don't come back."
Yeah.
But we managed to avoid all that, so that was good. But that's probably the most scary experience I've had, even more so than at the cave.
First one?
Yeah, even more so than that, dude. I'm telling you, I have never been. I was shaking for like half an hour on the drive home. I'm just like, my hand is just. I can't.
I bet, dude. I bet that's terrifying.
Yeah. So that was. What was that? I guess that was like URBEX number 3. So pretty high stakes for being still pretty new in the URBEXing career.
Yeah.
But
are there any other stories you want to tell, or?
Yeah, I mean. For time's sake, I go like one more.
Okay, one more. Yeah. Don't make it too recent, just in case.
Sure. So this is, I think the summer before last summer. So this is like a year and a half ago.
Okay, yeah.
And this is with a different friend that I'd never urbexed with, right? But I always talked to him about it. He thought it was cool. It's like, man, we got to go sometime. Sure. So we'll call him Billy.
Okay, Billy.
Billy's my dog, man.
Yeah.
Shout out, Billy. If you're watching this, you know who you actually are. But I had done a bunch of digging on Google Earth, of course. I've got probably a couple hundred spots marked on there just prospecting.
Possible,
and, how do I contextualize this? So during the Cold War, they had these things called Nike, not the brand, I don't know why they called them that, but they were like Nike missile bases that were popping up all over the country, dude. And they closed a lot of them down in the 80s, some in like the 90s. And you can find most of them online. And a lot of them have been converted to like, I've seen them be made in like Airbnbs,
Yeah.
But most of them are very well known.
Crazy. Yeah.
But there is one in, I won't say where in Kansas, in the middle of nowhere, like nowhere in Kansas, where it was not anywhere on the internet that I could find. And that's really weird to me because there's like registries online, like government websites, where you can see all the old ones that were shut down and then repurposed, but this one's just not on there. And then on Google Earth, it looks hella abandoned. Like I'm seeing like rusted out roofs, like I'm seeing like the signs of stuff that being abandoned. So I'm like, man, I got the perfect spot for us. But like I think I might have mentioned earlier, if you're going somewhere super rural and you're in the Midwest, it's flat for as long as you can see, which means that people have greater visibility. So there were a couple people that had like farmhouses like a couple miles away from this
that could have spotted
missile silo. So I'm like, brother, if we're going, we're gonna leave at 1 a.m. and we're gonna get there at like 3 a.m. and that's when we're going.
Okay, yeah.
Because no one's gonna be up. And then we're also gonna turn off the headlights for the tail end of that drive as well.
Yeah.
So we do that, and the first like probably hour of the drive, we're listening to music, we're vibing, we're excited. I like to play like Johnny Cash, like outlaw country type stuff on the radio stuff. That's setting the scene, man. Setting the mood. We get about half an hour out, and the terrain just changes instantly. We go from like highway with like some like gas stations to nothing, man. It's just like the interstate,
fields.
and there's just empty fields. Exactly. Yeah. We get about 15 minutes out, and both of us just stop talking. We get about 5 minutes out. I turn that music off. It's time to lock in.
It's just locking in time, yeah.
Like when you're like trying to find like a buddy's house, like I was doing an hour ago, and you like turn the music down to lock in because like you see better for some reason. That's what I was at.
You need to focus your senses on one thing.
We just got quiet, man, and I just started feeling like this anxiety, like just in my stomach, like I didn't feel right. And I'm not someone that struggles with anxiety at all, but man, when you're out in the middle of nowhere and you're going to like an abandoned missile base and it's 3 a.m., it's pitch black, it's scary, bro. I'm gonna be real.
I bet.
I'm a grown man. I like to think I'm adventurous, but I was spooked. So we finally pull off on the side of the road to this place where we're gonna stash the car.
Yeah.
We get our stuff. We get our backpacks. I got like the Camelback going with the water. You know what I mean? I think I was carrying it this one as well. I'd say it's like 50-50 if I carry it or not, if I feel like it's that intense. But, so Billy and I were ready to go. We had to walk through this entire, like, I'm going to be so for real. There were no crops there, so it was just like an empty field, so I don't know what it would have been, but it was just like tall grass.
Yeah,
like,
tall grass.
I guess in the off season, we're like, they're just letting whatever grow,
Yeah.
But we had to like high knee it through this field for like probably close to half a mile.
Yeah.
And this is just on, some farmer's land that probably owns like hundreds and hundreds of acres, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I really wasn't worried about being spotted, but we're high kneeing it through all this. We get through this field, and then finally we just hit the woods. And then I'd done all my research on Google Earth. I knew roughly in the woods where I thought the missile base was, but it's hard to tell because of all the tree cover.
Yeah.
So we get in the woods, we're going for a little bit. At this point, it's pretty much going in blind because we can only do so much with Google Earth. And then we hit a big barbed wire fence. And it's like a square going across, but I guess it's like the whole property the base was on. So I'm like, all right, sweet, we're here. So, we weren't that smooth going in. We found like a big tree, and my buddy Billy, he's like 6'4". He's a big guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like 5'10" on a good day, so I can kind of operate these things a little better. But we found this big old tree. We're climbing up it, and then we're like kind of going on the branch, and then dropping over the barbed wire fence. We get in. Takes us a little bit, especially Billy, because he's a tall guy. But we get over. Like, all right, now it's go time. And on our headlamps, we turn it to like the red light because that's gonna be a lot less bright. Like, there's no way anyone is out here, but still, you gotta be paranoid,
Yeah.
So we're red lighting it, we're walking around, and we start seeing nothing for like 5 minutes, and then we start seeing like foundations, like concrete foundations, and that's all we're seeing. We probably cover like a quarter mile, like going through,
and it's just concrete foundations. And
so Billy's like, all right, bro, like I think it got like demolished, and I'm like, no, there's no freaking way that it got demolished, man. Like, we gotta keep looking. And so we keep going. And then we see this giant, like, manhole, like, cover thing, right? And this is not like you see for, like, a sewer system or, like, the city. I'm talking, it's, like...
ginormous.
It's probably, like... 6 by 6 feet, dude. And it's like...
That's gotta be heavy.
Yeah. Needless to say, we were not able to open it. And so then Billy, he's like, dude, I mean, that sucks, but I guess we got like a cool picture of it. I'm like, I did not drive all this way for nothing.
Just to look at it.
He's like, dude, but there's nothing here. Like, they clearly demolished it. Whatever's underground, we can't get to. And I'm like, nah, man, no. We gotta keep looking. So I'm like, listen, we're gonna look for 15 more minutes. If we don't find anything, we'll go. All right, cool. 5 minutes pass by, nothing. 10 minutes, nothing. He's like, hey, man, it's almost time. It's like 13 minutes, and then we kind of like get over this little like hilly section with some trees.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "What's that, big dog?" And what didn't you know? It's like this concrete like building.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is not where Google Earth said it would be. Google Earth said it would be like a quarter mile away from where it was. In the woods, that's a long way, man. You know, you can't see anything, especially at night. So, we go up to this, and, oh my gosh, you've probably seen like those brain rot like TikToks about like still water or whatever.
Yeah, still water, yeah.
It's like URBEXER.
It's dead air, too.
Yeah,
right?
dead air, still water. Unironically, like, I see like this ladder that's like in through the doorway, and the whole like building is like filled with legitimately still water.
Yeah.
So unless you have like a hazmat suit, you're not going in that, man.
Yeah.
Okay. As much as joked about, you're gonna like have like a bug crawl up your freaking urethra if you go in there.
Yeah.
So this big ladder is going down into the water. I'm like, okay, well, sorry, Billy, we're not going into the actual bunker part. We're not going underground.
Yeah.
And we're a little disappointed, but there's still so much to check out above ground. There's like all these, like, you could see like all these different, I don't know anything about like mechanics, but like all these different like things where you could see like the power couplings for like all the stuff that went down into the bunker. There were like all these like huge vents for like ventilation for it. So there was probably a good amount to check out outside. So we climb up like this hill, and then there's this like upper part because it's like above ground. It's like a 2-story building probably. So we go up onto the top, and like it's like this whole walkway. There's like a railing. It's all rusted over, and then it goes down into like the building. But it was never like you think of like a building like in the city or something. It's just like this concrete building that like from the top you can like climb down these different levels to get down into the actual. It's really weird. But we're looking at that, and so we're kind of walking around getting really tough flicks, as you know one has to do, of course, on top of this bunker. And then we hear what sounds like a car. And we weren't even scared, we were confused. I was like, okay, we just hiked through the woods for like probably 30 minutes.
Yeah.
A car literally physically cannot come here. Okay? The only possibility is like we hadn't been to one side of it, and like maybe there's some small like trail that goes up to it we hadn't seen. But like, no way, dude. There's nowhere to, so we don't know what's happening, but it sounds like it's getting closer and closer and closer, and then it sounds super close. And you have to keep in mind, we're on top of this like bunker, and there's just straight forest, but it sounds like it's right beyond that, and then it stops. And I'm like, alright, man. I don't know what this is, I don't know how that's there, but we gotta like find a place to hunker down. And then we hear, like faintly, a car door open and shut. And I'm like, alright, man.
Damn it.
And, you know, I'm thinking back to picture, I'm like, why does this crap always have to happen? Like, I guarantee I do more like homework and research on this I'm going than 90% of these dudes that claim to be urbexers. And I'm still running into bullcrap. You know? Maybe I just am picking too crazy of locations, or I don't know. But, so we end up, I'm trying to think of how to best describe it. And I'll show you the pictures after if you want. But there's like, the top like ceiling like level, it's like the rooftop places like New York City, it's like that, but it's all concrete, right? We're on that. And then you can kind of see there's like different like platforms, concrete platforms that go down, and then down into like the ground level of the bunker. And so I'm like, alright, let's like slide under the like top part here onto this platform and just hunker down there. So we go down there, and we're just like, we're against the wall. Whoever it was could theoretically see us if he like went around to the other side and was at like the perfect angle and was looking right at us, but that's the best spot we have, right? And then we hear footsteps, we hear someone walking up, and there's like this ramp that's like metal to like over the hill, and so we hear the clomp, 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 so we know right where he is. And then he stops kind of at the top, and we're just looking at each other like, holy crap, holy crap, holy crap. We just have to, I'm legit like holding my breath, like, you cannot make a noise, you can't fart, you can't nothing. And so then we hear his footsteps. It's a little harder to hear because this is on concrete. And then he walks and walks and walks, and then he stops, like, right on top of my head. So, Billy's, like, over here, I'm over here, and the ledge is up here, right? And the guy stops, like, right on top of me. And we're just... I didn't hear any movement for probably the next like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So the guy was standing there.
Oh my god.
I don't know if he was jerking his jimmy or what. He's just standing there, man.
That's terrifying, dude.
And the thing is, I don't even see like a flashlight.
Yeah.
And that is really sussing me out, because if you're like someone that maybe is supposed to like look over this old property,
Yeah, you're supposed to work there.
you're gonna have a flashlight,
yeah,
right?
Security.
If you're someone that is scared to be out there, you're probably gonna have your light off so you don't draw attention to yourself, right?
Yeah.
But if you're scared to be out there and you hear people on top of this bunker thing, you're not gonna go to them. So I can't figure out who this would be.
Yeah.
Right? But
why do you keep running into that? Like,
I don't
so
know.
Weird. That's so weird.
I got like aliens on me. But anyways, we're sitting there in silence. Then finally, we hear him walk off. We hear him go back down the metal thing. And then a minute later, we hear the car start. And we hear it drive off. Like, all right, you know what?
Ain't no way.
We avoided confrontation. Cool.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I whispered to Billy, I'm like, we're sitting here for 10 minutes. I was like, okay. So we sit there in silence for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And we finally get up. I kind of pop my head out like a meerkat or something.
Yeah.
Look around. And then we get out of there. We low-key got lost on the way back out, because I'm telling you, those woods are very hard to navigate.
Yeah.
We come out on the other side, whatever. We found out, we can just climb over like the corner and get over the barbed wire, whatever. But we get out of there, no problem. Man, I don't know. It's like my best urbex stories. We got to do so little urbexing because we were like dealing with other crap, you know? It's like the whole place is flooded and then there's people coming up. I don't know.
Yeah.
But for me, it's almost hard of like, okay, do I enjoy the exploring part more, or do I do I enjoy the exploring part more, or do I enjoy being like scared shitless? I don't know.
Like the conflict, or like
right.
the chase.
Right. But we made it out, you know. But yeah, it seems to be a recurring theme. We always run into some nonsense. So if you don't really love doing it and you're not prepared to like get caught, don't do it, man. You know. But those are probably the couple most exciting stories I have. Most of the time it runs smoothly, you know?
Yeah.
But every once in a while, you're going to run into something just crazy.
Yeah, dude, that's insane, though. I'd be so scared, dude. If somebody's just, like, standing like that and just doesn't move.
Yeah.
No flashlight?
No
Did you have, like, police comms or no?
No. Well, I mean, dude, that far out there, there's no one there, man.
Yeah, I was like, who is that?
And it's possible that I just couldn't see the flashlight from where I was, but I would think that it would like slightly illuminate stuff past where the actual light is, and I could see that.
Yeah.
I wasn't seeing anything, man. So.
Bro.
I don't know. We never knew what or who that was.
Another URBEXER.
Yeah.
Well, no, that'd be even weird.
Well, yeah, that wouldn't come to
noise.
noise.
Why is he alone? Yeah.
I have no idea, man. But.
And they weren't speaking. That's so weird.
No, I didn't hear anything for like a voice.
Yeah.
But
he's an alien, bro.
Possibly. You know what? When I tell my grandkids the story, I'll be like, yeah, we were chased by these big aliens. They had ray guns. They had a UFO. But for now, you get the authentic story. So.
Dude, no, that other one with the tribal police sounded, dude, like that sounded like an alien, bro. Where he's just standing there, and you said he's like ethnically
like the Terminator, bro.
Like,
and see, I think that detail's important because that's what makes me think, okay, that was probably the tribal police.
Yeah.
I didn't know they could straight up pull an ice and just like not have any identifying stuff.
Yeah,
you know? I don't know if that's how that actually works. But clearly he was in communication with the police because they knew right where we were.
Yeah.
So. But, yeah, man. It's fun to talk about because I don't get to talk about these things too often, and of course you gotta be a little careful with how you
present it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, because it's possibly not as law abiding as like going to Walmart or normal activities. And I wouldn't encourage other people to do it. I think it really takes a special kind of person that is okay with, on the one hand, doing tens of hours of research on your laptop, which is incredibly boring, and then also being okay with like all the crap that also happens.
Yeah. If things turn sideways.
Right.
Yeah.
And I would say for me, like 10% of the time they do.
Yeah.
But man, that 10% that can make the difference, because if things in, for instance, Pitcher had gone slightly differently, if things at the Mormon cave gone slightly differently.
Yeah.
Could be an entirely different story with how it went. So.
Well, I'm glad I'm glad things didn't go completely wrong, especially with that first one.
I know. I'm here to tell short.
I'm glad
today,
Muhammad's still around. Hopefully.
Muhammad, that's right. Yeah. But yeah, man, I don't know. I thought I'd pick what I think are the most interesting couple stories. It's a little more interesting than just being like, I explored somewhere, we saw cool stuff, and we left. So
yeah.
I don't want to make it sound like that is what urbexing is, because most of the time it's not. But those couple times do make for the best stories. So.
Yeah, dude, those are some great stories. I mean, we're nearing an hour, like.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
there
crazy,
we go.
dude. Yeah. I think those stories were awesome. I think. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't condone doing this.
No.
Like,
do not try this at home or places that aren't your home.
I think it's just like interesting stories for people to listen to if they want to, you know.
For sure.
If anything, like you can learn, you might be able to take something away from each of the stories if you can.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, nothing illegal, but
nothing illegal has been encouraged.
Yeah,
we do not condone it.
But yeah, dude, I want to thank you for getting on, man. It's been a pleasure, and it's definitely a good entertainment, I would say.
Yeah, well, hey, thanks for having me, man. And, shoot, maybe in a couple of years we'll have a couple even crazier stories. But,
yeah, of course.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes.
Totally down to get you back on at some point, hopefully, if you have any other crazier stories to tell.
For sure. As I get more experienced and skilled at urbexing, I hope to have less of those type of encounters. So hopefully I won't have more crazy stories, but you never know. So we'll keep in touch on it.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man. Thanks for getting on, dude.
Yeah, thank you, man. Have a good one.
Thank you guys for listening to this episode of the Goal Swole Podcast. If you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure to drop a like. And if you plan on listening to any future episodes, make sure to subscribe and click that notification button.